And hello, race fans, and welcome here to Indiana for our second out of the 4 races that we're running throughout this week. This time, it is Menard's Truck Series Racing here at the Indianapolis Raceway Park for the 10th outing of the season. After tonight, we will have 5 races to go here in the WRLA Menard's Truck Series, and things are definitely getting pretty interesting in the championship. But my goodness gracious, it is good to be back home again in Indiana. We kicked off the week last night at the Anderson Speedway with the WRLA Hoosier Summer Tour. That race was dominated by drivers such as Carson Miller and Wyatt Walker, but obviously the victor, if you were watching last night on YouTube, was none other than Wyatt Walker himself. But here we are at the Indianapolis Raceway Park, the second consecutive short track for several of our contenders that were a part of the Hoosier Summer Tour race last night. And they're getting ready to duke it out with all the rest of these other Truck Series contenders here tonight for our 10th race of the season. For those that were not here with us last weekend at the Talladega Super Speedway, Sarah Taylor became the first part-time driver here in the Truck Series to go to victory lane and managed to hold off a hard-charging Samet Oskin for the race victory. It was definitely a very fun event last week at the Talladega Super Speedway, but now we're getting ready to go short track racing. So definitely a huge difference in regards of, just exactly, the type of racing that we're about to see here tonight. Well, let's go ahead and review your point standings coming into this one. It is Michael Davis that has the points lead. He increases it on Michael DeFeo just by about 35 points. So DeFeo has 226 points to his name. He has yet to score a win this season. Emmanuel Hartnett, our winner from Daytona, he is third with 223. Chris Reynolds fourth with 222. And then Tyler Ferris rounds out your top 5 with 208 points to his name. Tied for 6th would be Bruno Diacomo and Billy Kidd, but Kidd would get the nod, obviously, because of his win in Michigan. So that would slot Diacomo in 7th. But again, Google Sheets physics, man. We love them. Then you have Kelsey Higdon 8th with 198 points to her name, tied with Eli Bright. So Kelsey Higdon would be 9th, obviously, with Bright's win at Jukasa a couple of weeks ago. And our Indiana Bash winner, Liam Davis, rounds out your top 10. Of course, the Cup Series will be at Indianapolis this Saturday. So who knows? We might see Liam Davis potentially try to make that race over there at the Brickyard and may go to victory lane in the process. So here's a look at the rest of your point standings coming into this one. Heading into tonight's race here at I.R.P, Foster Henderson, 194 points to his name, but some drivers that did not have, were not having good seasons as of late, and some of them are, they've kind of moved up a little bit. Elijah Gordon definitely had himself a really good points day, as you see. He managed to finish inside of the top 10 at Talladega just 1 week ago, so he is now in the triple digits, finally in the triple digits with 126 points, but still at the very bottom of the ladder. Carson Miller, just his terrible season continues, especially after that flip that he had, that wild Wyatt Walker-esque crash that he had at Talladega last week, where he just wound up flipping sideways and backwards at the same time. Kind of hard to really understand it unless if you go back and watch last week's race, but it definitely was a very wild tumble that he took on the tri-oval at Talladega just 1 week ago. So he is 26th in the point standings, and this has just been a very tough year for several of these contenders, including Carson Miller. But it's a new night, it's a new race, and we are definitely getting ready to get this party started here at the Indianapolis Raceway Park. Let's have a look at your starting lineup coming into this event. We have Addison Jarrell. She wound up making this race. She's on the pole with Haley Tullis lining up alongside. It's an all-women's front row here for the Lucas Oil 200 here at I.R.P. Liam Davis and Michael DeFeo, they make up the second row. And then you have Carson Miller, Wayne Lopez in row number 3, Elijah Gordon and Foster Henderson in row 4, Mercedes Davis and Ronald House. They complete your top 10 in row 5. Carter Friesen and Joshua Cornish in row 6. And then you have Jesse Turner and Kelsey Higdon in the 7th row. Max Anderson and Sam Oskin in the 8th row. Carson Green and Alex Richards in the mid-pack in row 9. And Michael Davis, our points leader, and Harley Higdon complete your top 20. Then you have Billy Kidd, Wyatt Walker, who won last night's Hoosier Summer Tour race at Anderson Speedway. Now he comes over here to the Indianapolis Raceway Park. He made the show here for tonight, so let's see if he can go 2 for 2 from the 22nd starting position. Then you have Bradley Ream, Chase McClure, Russell Blaze starting P25, then Bryce Egan, Brock Nelson, Eli Bright, followed by Jeffrey Holcomb and Chris Reynolds. That's your top 30. And then you have Bruno Diacomo, Emmanuel Hartnett, David Byers, and Tyler Ferris. Finally, Shauna Martin and Noah Shastal. They complete your 36 truck field here for tonight. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it has been an absolutely amazing atmosphere and great to be back home again here in Indiana for some Menards Truck Series racing. After tonight, the championship will get interesting with 5 races to go after this one, but we're getting set to go racing 125 laps here at the Indianapolis Raceway Park for the WRLA Menards Truck Series. So with that said, the drivers are strapped into their cars. Pre-race ceremonies are just now starting to wrap up, but in order to get these 36 behemoths rolling on the track, we got to get the command to fire the engines. So let's go trackside and get just that.
Drivers, start your engines!
And there it is. Engines are fired. Pace truck is rolling off. And so are these 36 trucks here for tonight's festivities here at the Indianapolis Raceway Park. Don't worry about where everybody's at on the ticker. We will get that resituated once this race begins. But they're going to waste no time. The pace truck will be making that left-hand turn down into the pits right now. And the field will be put in the hands of Addison Jarrell and Haley Tullis to lead us down to the green flag for the 10th race of the Menards Truck Series. 125 laps of action. Jarrell and Tullis bring us to the green and get the party started here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Great jump for Addison Jarrell as she breaks out with the lead. Tullis in second. And then you have Liam Davis to the inside for the 3rd position underneath of Michael DeFeo, and Carson Miller completes your top 5. And Addison Jarrell will lead the first lap of action, with Haley Tullis trailing in second. DeFeo is 3rd with Liam Davis in 4th. Wayne Lopez moves up into the 5th position in truck number 1. And then the fight for the 6th position is on, with Foster Henderson up to 6th and already under caution on lap number 3. They're going to race it back to the stripe. That race will be won by Addison Jarrell. And it looks like we might have had an issue with the 76 of Shauna Martin, as she's just now getting up to speed. There's potentially a spin on the front straightaway, but Jarrell will lead us back down for the yellow flag. But 3 laps in the books, all under green. Haley Tullis, or Addison Jarrell, excuse me, has led every single lap thus far and currently holds the fastest lap of the race, currently with a 21.610. Just making sure that everybody gets themselves situated, and we will go ahead and take a look and see exactly what happened to the 76 of Shauna Martin that brought out our first yellow flag of the night here at the Indianapolis Raceway Park. And we'll see exactly what brought out that first yellow flag. And I'm definitely guessing that it was a spin on the front straightaway. It had to have been for sure. Actually, no, this didn't actually involve Haley Tullis. And another thing to actually fix here. Definitely a good thing that we caught that. So, as we're getting ready to see here, this starts going into turn 4, but we're going to back it up quite a ways, heading into turn number 3. And you're going to see this here going into turn 3. Looks like Chase McClure and as well as the 02 of Eli Bright, they're kind of up the racetrack a little bit, but also Chris Reynolds in the 26 gets up on the left rear quarter panel of the tailgate of the 02 and just doesn't quite get off of him. And that sends Eli Bright right down into the path of Bradley Ream, sends him around in front of Russell Blaze. And good thing that Blaze got on the brakes as hard as he did, because he would have wound up hitting that 88 of Bradley Ream. So definitely good news there for Blaze. He will be able to continue on. But as for Tyler Ferris, unfortunately, I mean, he did wound up getting into the outside wall, but might have gotten a little bit of damage off of the 88 of Ream as he was spinning back around across the track. So we'll definitely have to wait and see exactly what the damage is going to look like. But regardless, the good news is, as we're taking a look at this in full speed, the good news is that aerodynamics really don't mean a thing when it comes to short track racing. It's all in the cosmetic and the body damage that and mechanical, if anything, that really does the trick. So, you know, for drivers like Ream and Bright and even Blaze or even Tyler Ferris, they are definitely going to be okay to continue on. And who knows, some of the damage might prove to be a little bit of an advantage for the for all of them. But we are actually, whoops, just 1 second. I completely forgot to hit this button, and then so we are officially back to live action from here at the Indianapolis Raceway Park under our first caution of the night. But probably, maybe just for this race, we'll keep the ticker up while we do our replays, and then in future races, I'm definitely going to do a little bit of testing. Maybe see if I can create a second scene that doesn't have the ticker. So we'll definitely figure it out. We'll figure this out. But working our first caution of the night that comes out on lap 1. That came out on lap 3. And for those that are just now tuning in, it was only for a spin on the front stretch that involved Bradley Ream and also Eli Bright. All drivers are able to continue on in this event. Of course, Ream might have sustained the most amount of damage. He does have a little bit of damage on the driver's side of his car. Just a tad bit. It's barely noticeable, though. So he should be okay, regardless of what happened in that crash. But we are coming to 1 to go this time by. At least I would believe so. So your race leader is Addison Jarrell. She started on the pole and has led every lap since. Haley Tullis is running in the second position, followed by Michael DeFeo in third, Liam Davis fourth. Wayne Lopez rounds out your top five. Then it's Foster Henderson in sixth, Carson Miller in seventh. Then Mercedes Davis in eighth, Elijah Gordon is in ninth, and Joshua Cornish completes your top 10 with 6 laps complete. So we actually are not going to take one to go this time. We might get it next time around. Checking in on who may potentially be the hottest driver in Indiana right now. If you're thinking Nathan Stapleton, unfortunately, he did not get his week off to a good start. He wound up getting involved in a early race incident last night at the Anderson Speedway that where unfortunately collided with Val Mosco at the very last second. Mosco was sideways in turn number 4, and just before he was getting ready to teleport to pit road, Nathan Stapleton hit him in the right rear quarter panel. It killed Stapleton's day. He was able to continue on, but it just ended his opportunity of getting a win in his home state, especially the Anderson Speedway. But we will see him race this Saturday in the Brickyard 400 for the NOS Energy Cup Series. So that's definitely going to be a fun one at that. But it is Wyatt Walker who currently right now is the hottest driver in Indiana right now, because he took part in last night's Hoosier Summer Tour. He won that race. He's taken part in tonight's race, and we will see him tomorrow, or at least Saturday. We'll see him tomorrow as an owner for the Xfinity Series, and then we'll see him as an owner driver in the Cup Series on Saturday. You saw him a little bit ago. He's currently running in the 21st position, so still running about mid-pack. He picked up one spot since we started this race, but we're getting ready to restart here on lap number 9, and Addison Jarrell is going to bring him right back down for the restart. And look at this, Lopez to the inside of the 19 of Liam Davis. Tried to make that inside line work. You can make it work on corner entry. It's that corner exit speed that matters the most. EGI teammates of Elijah Gordon and Joshua Cornish are going to try to duke it out for that 9th position. But Gordon holding on around the outside. There's Carson Miller in the 71 with Haley Tullis, or not Haley Tullis, rather. Tullis is in second, but that's Mercedes Davis in the 91. I'm getting names mixed up left and right. But Davis currently sitting in the 8th spot. Right now doing a very nice job. Running inside of the top 10 early in the going. But it's still Tullis out front. Changed for a 32nd position. Carson Green and Michael Davis duking it out. That's the battle for 19th, as Green's going to win that fight, and we'll take it away from our points leader, Michael Davis. And just right behind them is Wyatt Walker in the 56. We're going to try to go 2 for 2 tonight. But so far here in this event, running in that 21st position. So not ideally, but the good news is there's still a lot of time between now and when that checkered flag falls. So we'll just have to wait and see exactly what the rest of this race is going to hold for Wyatt Walker. But in the meantime, he is running in that 21st position. Everybody has now gotten themselves into a bit of a single file rhythm ever since we restarted this race. Noah Shastau in the 30. Looking to try to get by Shauna Martin. This is for the 35th position. The Shastau runs really wide. He took a wide entry going into turn 1. He took a very wide entry going into turn 1. I think he's just taken a wide corner entry altogether. And I think that was definitely the thing that wound up costing him. Shauna Martin here in the 76, looking to try to make something happen, trying to make that inside line work. Definitely thought about it. She went down to the bottom, but Ream committed to the middle. And it seems like the middle of the racetrack, through the corners, seems to be the best way to go. But regardless of that, everybody has managed to get themselves into a pretty consistent rhythm. That at least they've gotten into a sort of a green flag rhythm. With now 18 laps complete coming up this time by. And WRLA has led every single lap since the drop of the green flag. And she's also pulling away a little bit from Haley Tullis, at least about a half a second. Tullis started the season off with a bang and wound up winning at Minnesota after that race got cut short due to a little bit of a power outage, I want to say. Or either that or just, no, it was the game crashing, realistically speaking. But if we're talking in terms of realism within the game, due to a sort of power outage at the racetrack. But Tullis, I mean, she did perform pretty well towards the beginning part of the season, but has faded back since then. And Tullis kind of finds herself outside of the obviously outside of the top 10 in the points standings. You probably have to go back inside of the top 20, if anything. But Tullis right now putting together a pretty good run here tonight. And if Addison Jarrell wins this race, she will be credited with those 10 bonus points for winning. Remember, since the drivers such as Addison Jarrell are ineligible for the championship, those 10 bonus points that Jarrell would get if she were a full-time contender would go to the highest running full-time competitor, that being Haley Tullis as of right now. Liam Davis doing a very nice job, our winner from the Indiana Bash back in May over at the Brickyard just 2 months ago. And now here we are at I.R.P. The truck's back home in Indiana. And right now running inside of the top 5 with 25 laps complete this time around. And so far we haven't had too many changes since we restarted this race. Everybody kind of just staying exactly where they are as of right now. But in due time, like the leaders should be catching up to the tail end of the field. And we might see ourselves a full ring of trucks all around I.R.P. As they come through turn number 4. Davis continuing to have the fastest lap of the race, this time with a 21.250. That's obviously 0.4 faster than what she ran in the first 2 laps that were ran under green. But Jarrell doing a very nice job. This is our 2021 R.C.O.M. Pepsi Amateur Series champion. Right now, running, obviously leading this race. She tried to run in last year's Daytona 500. Unfortunately, didn't make the show. But running on a part-time basis here in the Truck Series. And potentially may go full-time next year in 2027. But here for tonight, she's doing a very fantastic job. And here's Michael DeFeo in the 33. Remember, coming into this race, DeFeo is second in the points, just 35 points back from Michael Davis. And so far, Davis, he's running in the 20th position in truck number 18. So DeFeo definitely has a pretty good opportunity to cut that gap in half. Should he finish right where he's running right now? If the race were to end right now, then DeFeo should be able to cut that gap in half, or at least come close to cutting the gap, that points gap between himself and DeFeo, Michael DeFeo, between himself and Michael Davis. Man, DeFeo's going to cut the gap between himself in the point standings, but no. Michael DeFeo would have to, if the race were to end, is what I'm trying to say. If this race were to end right now, and DeFeo and Davis finish exactly where they're at on the racetrack, with DeFeo finishing in third and Michael Davis in 20th, then there is a good chance that we might see DeFeo chop that points lead in half when we go to our next event, which for the truck series after tonight, the next time that you'll see these truck series racers, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the schedule here as we're continuing to look at Michael Davis. Now, probably going to take a look at race leader Addison Jarrell. She continues to maintain that half a second advantage over Haley Tullis. But the next race for these truck series contenders is going to be Darlington in less than a month's time. And I believe, yeah, the truck series will be racing at Darlington on the 20th of August during what would be WRLA's Southern 500 weekend. So we should definitely be getting some throwbacks going for Darlington in a good few weeks' time. That's definitely going to be fun. And we're looking forward to Throwback Weekend, and I can't wait to see all the throwbacks that we're going to see at Darlington. That should be a very, very fun show at the Lady in Black. The track too tough to tame. Last year, when the Cup Series was at the Darlington Raceway, it was Rogel Dorn that took the checkered flag and managed to get his first of 2 wins last year. Rogel Dorn wound up winning this year at Texas World. That definitely was a cluster of a race. Definitely was a cluster at that, and we're definitely making the choice not to go back. But regardless of that, we've had ourselves some pretty good races as of late here in the Menard Truck Series. So far, this one is looking like a definitely trying to a little bit of a cleaner race. I think these drivers definitely knew what happened at Talladega, so they're definitely doing everything that they can to just keep their trucks in one piece and just hurry this up so that way we can go on to the next one. Or at least for most of these contenders, they're going to be on break before they get back at it at Darlington on the 20th of August. But so far, everybody kind of just minding their own P's and Q's. Now, again, if since this race, if it does go green the rest of the way, I'm wondering if there is a possibility that we could see green flag pit stops play out. There is a chance. We saw it happen at Martinsville earlier this year with the Truck Series, I do believe. And who knows, we might see. Actually, I think it might have been the Cup Series that had green flag pit stops earlier this year when we were at Martinsville. But who knows? It very well could play out the same way here again tonight. we're just going to have to find out, as we are going to be 44 laps complete. It is starting to get a little toasty in here, so I'm going to go ahead and turn my fan on real quick. Hopefully it doesn't mess anything up. So I will... back here. So as Jarrell cycles back around to complete 45 of the scheduled 125 laps here tonight. 80 laps to go here in the Lucas Oil 200 here at the Indianapolis Raceway Park. For those that are just now tuning in, so far we have been clean and green, and we've only had one caution on lap number 3 that involved Bradley Ream and spinning around on the front straightaway in front of drivers like Russell Blaze and even Tyler Ferris after contact that Eli Bright had with Billy Kidd, I do believe, where Kidd wound up turning the 0-2 of Bright down into Bradley Ream, and Ream wound up losing control after that door slam. All those trucks that were involved, they are able to continue on, but definitely well off the pace, if anything. Well off of the pace that they started at. But Ream still back here in the 33rd or 34th position. You have Shauna Martin 35th, and then Noah Shostow in 36th. So this is where they've been running ever since we've restarted this race. And boy, oh boy, this definitely is going to be pretty interesting when it comes to the points. Now, there's Michael Davis in truck number 18, who won at Martinsville and also finished second in both of the plate races that we've had at Daytona and Talladega. Right now running 20th on the racetrack, about mid-pack, and this might not be the type of race that Davis would be looking to have, because as it stands right now, as I've mentioned, for those that are coming in, Michael DeFeo and Michael Davis, the Michael and Michael show, they are separated by 35 points in the point standings. So if this race were to end tonight, or end right now, then DeFeo would have a good chance of cutting that gap down in half by the time that these truckers are done racing here tonight and prep up for Darlington on August 20th. Now, there might be also an opportunity that we could see some green flag pit stops play out if this race does continue to go green the rest of the way. And who knows, that might also bring out another yellow flag, but there's still a good amount of pacing to go here at I.R.P. is Addison Jarrell. She has led every lap since the drop of the green flag, and even our one and only caution that we've had so far here tonight. And things have been clean and green ever since then. And so your top 10 has remained unchanged since we've restarted this race. For those that are coming in, Jarrell leading the charge, followed by Haley Tullis running in second. Michael DeFeo runs third in truck number 33. Then it's Liam Davis in fourth. Wayne Lopez rounds out your top 5. That's our Las Vegas winner from back in February. Running in sixth is Foster Henderson. Then followed by Carson Miller, Mercedes Davis, Elijah Gordon, and Joshua Cornish. who completes your top 10. And you see the rest of your results and their current results as of right now on the left-hand side of your screen, from 11th on down to 20th, now down from 21st to 30th, and then from 31st on down to 36th right here on this page. Coming around to 58 laps complete. It seems like, according to the relative, it looks like Haley Tullis is able to catch Jarrell on corner entry, but it's that exit speed that Jarrell has that carries her all the way off the turn and into the straightaway. That corner exit speed is where Addison Jarrell is absolutely strongest. Do apologize, I have a little bit of a phlegm buildup. Now we have 60 laps complete here at the Indianapolis Raceway Park. Now let's go ahead and run through, and let's go ahead and let's highlight a few drivers that I feel have definitely turned things around. Let's take a look at Carter Friesen in truck number 13, so far running in the mid-pack, ironically in the 13th position in truck number 13. He absolutely did fantastic at Talladega last week, running up front for a majority of the event. I do believe he wound up leading the most laps in the process. Unfortunately didn't win, but he came pretty close for running up front for most of the night last week, trading the lead with Sarah Taylor. And, you know, he did absolutely amazing. He did absolutely amazing in that event. And yet another top 5 on a super speedway race, in a super speedway track for Carter Friesen. Just behind him is Samet Oskin in the 77, who probably had the fastest truck in the later stages of last week's race at Talladega. He could literally make moves that nobody else could and manage and just do it all on his own. He didn't need the draft. He just had the faster truck and could have, if not should have, won at Talladega. But Samet Oskin did a fantastic job last week, and he got himself a good amount of points to climb his way up through the point standings. But obviously with 5 races left to go after tonight, I don't know if these points that Oskin is going to pick up will be enough, but only time will tell. Only time will tell once the points do get released, and who knows, Oskin may potentially move his way into the top 15 in the point standings. You never know. You never ever know. Max Anderson, truck number 38. He won a Hoosier Summer Tour race just a couple of weeks ago at Dell's Raceway Park, and I feel like since then, the 38 team has definitely gotten a little bit more solid on the short tracks. Anderson did come pretty close to winning at Jukasa. Still took home a pretty good result regardless. Here he is tonight, currently running in the 17th position and doing a pretty nice job. Although it is mid-pack, but still running pretty solid in the mid-pack as of right now. Wyatt Walker, truck number 56. Remember, he did win last night's race at the Anderson Speedway for the Hoosier Summer Tour, and that moved him up to second in the championship points in that division. And And next Saturday, the Hoosier Summer Tour will be taking the trip out to the Stafford Motor Speedway. I keep thinking Anderson Speedway, but no, it is the Stafford Motor Speedway for the penultimate race of the Hoosier Summer Tour before we conclude at the El Cajon Speedway. And that is a racetrack that is very, very special and very close to the heart of Russell Blaze, for that is his legit home track, as he likes to call it. So, well, the intro package that's going to be coming up for El Cajon Speedway, for Cajon Speedway, you definitely might enjoy it, because it's definitely going to might be a pretty emotional one for Russell Blaze. But for Wyatt Walker, currently running in the 21st position, although it's not exactly where Wyatt wants to be, it's definitely not a bad spot to be in either, because although it is close to mid-pack, at least the top half of the lower part of the field, or at least from 19th on down to 36th, at least the bottom half, although he is running better than that, I mean, he hasn't really been particularly, obviously, all that excited. I wouldn't say excited about the truck races, but he definitely hasn't run the greatest in every truck race that he has entered in, besides Jukasa, where he did finish inside of the top 10. But for the most part, this is right around exactly where Wyatt would be running, or at least right around mid-pack, closer to the back of the field. But it is good to see that Wyatt is still running in this race, currently in the 21st position, but still doing a pretty nice job right where he's at in this current moment. "50 laps of racing to go, coming to 49, and Addison Jarrell has led every single lap here tonight. I'm still very curious as to when we're gonna have pit stops. I'm gonna guess it's gonna be towards the end of the race, where drivers may come on down to pit lane, maybe top off on fuel, maybe get those tires, and try to get back out and finish the race, and hopefully try to get out of pit lane and back on the racetrack first. Because, those pit stops are going to mean absolutely everything. We'll see that tomorrow night. We'll also see that on Saturday in the Brickyard 400 for the Cup Series. So it's definitely going to be a lot of fun. And if you thought this race was a little bit anticlimactic, unlike what we saw at Talladega last week for the Truck Series, wait until tomorrow when we go racing at the Brickyard, starting off with the Xfinity Series. It's definitely going to be fun. The racing is going to be a little bit more exciting than what we're seeing right now. Obviously, with these drivers knowing what happened at Talladega, they definitely don't want a replication of what happened at Talladega here, happening on a short track. Obviously not high-speed crashes, but definitely the wrecks just in general. So they're just looking to try to get this race done and get out of here. But the Xfinity race for sure is definitely going to be a lot of fun. We'll see some great racing, great passes as well, and a good amount of pit strategy on top of that in tomorrow night's race at the Brickyard. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. 44 laps to go this time. The EGI trucks are in with Wayne Lopez and Elijah Gordon. Pit stops are beginning here, folks. Eli Bright is in. What will this entail? Who else is going to make the turn on into the pit lane? Tullis, DeFeo, and Davis, they're all in. Also in are Carson Miller, Foster Henderson, several other drivers, Wyatt Walker amongst them. Hartnett is in. So Jarrell, Cornish, House, they all stayed out. Up until now, Jarrell is in. Cornish and House, they come on in. Michael Davis is actually going to stay out, so he'll lead a lap here with 42 laps to go. Wayne Lopez and Gordon, they're back out on the racetrack. Oh, Michael Davis, actually, he stayed out. I wonder if he's going to try to stretch it. There's definitely a good chance he probably is, as he's putting more laps down. Putting more drivers a lap down, but I would have to expect this 18 to peel off, and that's exactly what's going to happen. And he almost got cleaned out by Emmanuel Hartnett. Great heads-up driving by Hartnett to get on the brakes. That way he collide with the 18. That could have been disastrous for both Hartnett and Michael Davis, especially for Davis, since he is the championship leader coming into this race. So after all of that, we're just going to have to find out where the lead and who the lead is going to cycle back to. Chances are it probably has cycled over to Wayne Lopez in the number 1. How about this? Lopez with the pit strategy, and he moves up into the lead, with Addison Jarrell in second. Then in third is Haley Tullis. Michael DeFeo runs fourth. Foster Henderson completes your top 5, with Kelsey Higdon in sixth, Cornish seventh, Oskin eighth, Gordon in ninth, and Alex Richards rounds out your top 10. So how about that for Wayne Lopez, looking to try to get his second win of the season, and the first driver in the Menard Truck Series to get another win on the year. He won at Las Vegas earlier in the season, back in February, and now they're going to try to add another one to his resume. How about for Wyatt Walker, by the way, after that one round of green flag stops, he officially moved his way up to 13th. So a little bit closer to the top 10. Just a wee bit closer to the top 10. But definitely a very great run for Wayne Lopez here tonight. Definitely getting the jump on pit lane, pitting from that top 5 position. And that was the thing that he needed to get out ahead of Addison Jarrell, who is just almost 2 seconds back from Wayne Lopez. 35 laps to go from here at I.R.P. Slower truck up ahead. That's Max Anderson in the 38, who is trapped 1 lap down. So definitely must have had a pretty lengthy time in the pits. And unfortunately, that cost him a good running spot, a good spot in the running order back in the 38th position, not 38th, sorry, the 17th position, 38th. So unfortunately, he has scored 36th, a lap down. So that's definitely a tough break there. A lot of other drivers that were inside of the top 10, like Liam Davis, who is 4th, fell back to 16th. Carson Miller, who is inside of the top 10, fell back to the 17th spot. Mercedes Davis, who is 8th, she fell back to outside of the top 25. I would say in the 26th position. $31 to go this time around. Yeah, Mercedes Davis back in 28th. Carter Friesen down to 30th. Oh, but my goodness. My goodness gracious. Another thing I'm also going to have to add here is definitely a great run for EGI here tonight. Obviously, with one of their trucks being Wayne Lopez leading the charge. Kelsey Higdon, who is going full-time in the NOS Energy Cup Series next year. It originally was supposed to happen in 2021 before the WRLA closed its doors and canceled the 2021 season. But running in the 6th position right now here in this race, she's doing a pretty good job. Joshua Cornish running in the 7th position. So definitely a pretty good rebound after running in mid-pack for most of the race. And Elijah Gordon was running in 9th for most of this event. And he is, after this last round of green flag pit stops, he is still running in the 9th position. May potentially have a battle on our hands between Carson Green and also the 52 of Alex Richards for that 10th position. With Green all over the back bumper of the 52 of Richards. But also could potentially maybe see about going around the outside of the 52. Probably may not elect to do so, as he's going to look straight in the back bumper of Alex Richards. Michael Davis actually got himself a good jump in from the pit lane. He moves up into the 12th position. So this is definitely going to be very beneficial for him, as he'll be able to maintain that points gap that he has over DeFeo. Might lose a little bit on that gap, but will still maintain it to the very best of his ability. 25 coming up to 24 laps of racing to go from here at the Indianapolis Raceway Park. Wayne Lopez, for those that are just now tuning in, is leading the charge. He managed to get the jump on the to the top spot after green flag pit stops took place with 44 laps to go, and he was the first to pit actually. And Addison Jarrell basically dominated this race. She led every single lap up until she wound up making her green flag pit stops. So that number 12 fell back to the 2nd position, just about 1 second behind on the 1 of Wayne Lopez. She definitely is biting into that lead ever so slightly. But we're seeing a similar song and dance to what we saw before green flag stops began, with Lopez getting the better run on corner exit and Jarrell really benefiting from corner entry. That corner exit speed is just absolutely everything, as Lopez continues to maintain that lead and keep it at least above 1 second. 20 laps to go from here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Jarrell still holds on to the fastest lap of the race with a 21.250. Wayne Lopez, although not the fastest lap with that 21.302, he still is able to somehow pull that 12 of Jarrell around. Although this isn't Daytona or Talladega, or even if you want to count the racetrack, Atlanta, you know, Lopez is definitely keeping that 12 at bay from that 2nd position. But Addison Jarrell definitely, again, doing a fantastic job here tonight. I think this is the best that I've seen Jarrell run all season in every race that she's entered so far this year. So not a bad run for our 2021 R.Com Pepsi Amateur Series champion. Won twice throughout her R.Com career. She won at Las Vegas at the tail end of the season. That ultimately was the rate difference-making win that would secure her the championship that year. But also went on to win at Daytona to kick off the 2022 R.Com Pepsi Amateur Series season. Unfortunately, the R.C series had closed its doors on the amateur series. Who knows? It could come back for 2027. Who knows? Like I said, it could potentially happen. Just gonna have to wait and see what the future holds, and who may potentially be a part of that series should it come back in 2027. 14 laps of racing to go. It is still Wayne Lopez leading the way and absolutely putting on a clinic in the later stages of the Lucas Oil 200 from here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. $13 to go. And everybody has definitely been minding their own P's and Q's. The only close call that we had was when Michael Davis was the final truck to pit. And as he cut down to the inside to get to pit lane, he almost got rear-ended by Emmanuel Hartnett, who thankfully got on his brakes to miss the 18. That almost caused a second yellow flag, but man, that would have been absolutely catastrophic if that wound up happening going into turn number 3, where Hartnett would rear end the 18 if that were to happen, and it would also be worse if it collected several other trucks in the process that had just recently made their pit stops, and that would have completely null and voided their opportunity to win here tonight. But thankfully that didn't happen, and we're still clean and green for at least in this juncture of the race. We're inside of 10 laps to go, and 10 laps away, coming up to 9 this time around, to Wayne Lopez's possible second win of the season. Lopez competed in the NOS Energy Cup Series last year. Although he did run pretty well, he wasn't able to secure a victory. So when the Truck Series came back and Lopez got moved down to the Truck Series, Wayne Lopez definitely saw it as a good opportunity to definitely improve and definitely get back to form, as we're down to 8 laps to go. And Wayne Lopez definitely took advantage of that opportunity by winning at Las Vegas and keeping that consistency up all throughout the season. And we are 7 laps away from Lopez's second win of the year. Addison Jarrell, although she did dominate this race, she definitely did put up a pretty good run here for tonight. Obviously leading the most laps. She's not going to get credit for any of the bonus points here tonight. But still, what a great run for Addison Jarrell. And as for Haley Tullis, a great run for her as well. Running inside of the top 5. She ran here all night long. She started second, ran second for most of the event, and after that one round of green flag pit stops, fell back to third, but still running fairly well inside of the top 5. Michael DeFeo pretty much ran fourth all race long. And Foster Henderson, we got to give a big props to him. Big shout out to Foster Henderson. Running inside of the top 5 after that first and only round of green flag pit stops. So he'll definitely have himself a good points day. Elijah Gordon inside of the top 10 for the second race in a row. He'll definitely get some good points after tonight as well. Same goes for Alex Richards and Carson Green, having himself a good running in that 11th position. Green has definitely been very poised and determined to get a win here in the Menards Truck Series, and man, I definitely feel his pain whenever he doesn't perform all that well or gets caught up in a mess that he feels like he shouldn't have been caught up in. But he is still very close to his first Truck Series win. It could happen at Darlington in less than 1 month from now. 2 laps of racing to go, though, for Wayne Lopez, who maintains that lead by 1 second. WRLA has been able to cut it down now to under 1 second through going to the corners, but it's going to be too little too late. White flag in the wind, 1 lap away from win number 2 for Wayne Lopez. Lopez had himself a pretty strong truck here tonight, and again has taken an opportunity to the maximum here in the Menard Truck Series. He won in Las Vegas in February, and coming through turn 4 now, he adds another win to his resume and gets the job done here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Addison Jarrell will come home in the 2nd position. Haley Tullis will finish in 3rd. Michael DeFeo 4th. Foster Henderson completes your top 5. Kelsey Higdon in 6th. Cornish in 7th. Oskin 8th. Gordon 9th. And Alex Richards rounds out your top 10. And everybody finished the race. The only driver that finished a lap down was Max Anderson. He finished this race 3 laps down, unfortunately. But everybody did take the checkered flag, and nobody smelled what the rock was cooking here for tonight. As you take a look at the positions, 11th on down to 20th, now 21st through 30th. And as the finishing order cycles through, man, what good race that we wound up having here for tonight. It was a relatively clean event here at the Indianapolis Raceway Park. Only 1 caution that took place on lap 3 with a spin on the front stretch with Bradley Ream. But regardless of that, we had been clean ever since then. We had a safe race, and definitely a good refresher after Talladega just 1 week ago. And definitely a good head clearer, if anything. So the points definitely are going to look a little bit different than what we had, than what we had coming into this event. So that gap, although DeFeo may close in just a little bit more, Michael Davis more than likely will be able to maintain that points lead by a slightly smaller margin, but should still be able to hold on to that points advantage. But Wayne Lopez, he'll definitely be able to move up inside of the top 5 at very best and could insert himself into the championship conversation when we go to Darlington in just 1 month time. That's the next time that you'll be able to see these Menard Truck Series drivers in action at the Darlington Raceway for WRLA Throwback Weekend on the 20th of August. But join us right back here tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the Brickyard, for WRLA Xfinity Series action. And that's definitely going to be a lot of fun. That coverage starts at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 24th of July. And ladies and gentlemen, that is going to conclude festivities from here at I.R.P. Keep an eye on the Discord for your points when they do release after this full race premiere concludes. One more time, congratulations to Wayne Lopez on getting the job done here at I.R.P. He definitely managed to nail down that pit strategy on that one and only pit stop that we had here for tonight. If you guys like this, be sure to hit the follow button so you don't miss a future stream if you're watching live on Twitch. But if you're watching on the YouTube side, thank you guys so much for watching this. And if you guys like this, be sure to hit the like button and be sure to consider subscribing in order to keep up with all the WRLA content all throughout the 2026 season. And that's going to do it for us. Have yourself a great night, everybody. Take care, stay safe, and we will see you all tomorrow night at the Brickyard for WRLA Xfinity Series Racing.
This WRLA telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or reused without any authorized written consent of 11 Broadcasting. WRLA would like to thank all of our loyal fans for their continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.